So you promised yourself today was the day you'd finally get to work. You sit down at your computer chair, power up your laptop, and try to focus, try to get stuff done. But it hasn't even been 5 minutes, and you start to think, oh, it would be nice to check Instagram, just to see if I have some new messages. And so you cave in, you listen to that thought, and you grab your phone. Before you realize it, 30 minutes have gone by, and you've just been endlessly scrolling. You've turned into a mindless zombie. But all of a sudden, you become conscious again. You realize your mistake. So you put your phone down, and you try to get back to work. But for some reason, you just can't focus. And before you know it, you give up and you go watch pointless YouTube videos or play video games. You promise yourself tomorrow you'll get to work, this time for good. So what the hell happened? My goal with this video is to share with you why boredom is the key to success. A couple years ago, I couldn't focus. I couldn't be disciplined, no matter how hard I tried. And today, all I do pretty much is to work, go to the gym, build my business, build my life. So my goal with this video is to reveal every single thing that is preventing you from being able to focus, doing the work, to be able to reach your goals. The truth is, most people won't even watch until the end of the video because they're addicted to instant gratification, they're mindless zombies looking for the next big dopamine hit. They don't have the attention span for good, honest, life-changing advice. But you know what? Fine. Let those people lose. You're moving on, you're winning. Chapter 1. The reason why you keep failing. A lot of people mistakenly believe that the reason why they're not successful, why they're not making any progress in life, why they're not making more money, why they're not getting jacked, why they can't find the love of their life, it's because they don't have enough time, money or resources to invest in reaching that goal. They say, oh, I just don't have enough energy. I mean, after all, it's easy to say that the reason why you're overweight, why you've been wanting to lose those 20 pounds forever, but you still have them on your frame, it's because, oh, you just don't have enough time to go to the gym and to eat healthy food. Because when you blame something external to yourself, now you feel good about yourself. It's not your fault. You're just a victim of the circumstances. So if anything, we should show you compassion. But guess what? With this attitude, you'll never make anything come true in your life. All of your dreams will die with you. You'll take them with you to the grave. Does that sound good to you? It's easy to say that the reason why you're not starting a business is because you don't know what to do. Do you seriously believe that every successful business person was given a step-by-step manual, a step-by-step how-to from the moment they were born? Of course not. They had to go and figure it out and learn from other people. Learn on the go, make mistakes, and then learn from those same mistakes. Now you see the real reason why most people can't succeed. Why year after year, their lives look the same, they're not making any progress. It's for one reason and one reason only. It's because they can't focus. I mean, just take a look on social media. Unless a video is edited like a short movie and it's 10 minutes long or less, people can't even watch the video until the end, even when it's filled with good, very valuable advice that will actually change your life if you implement it. Now, the reason why I said that most people lost their ability to focus is because we are all born with the ability to focus. So somewhere along the way, it got lost. Did someone steal it from us? The answer is actually yes. The billion-dollar companies of the century, of the decade, what are they? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, well, Meta in reality, Google. What's their business exactly? Do you have to pay to use their services? Do you have to pay every time you watch a YouTube video? Do you have to pay every time you type something in the search bar on Google? No, you don't. So why is it free? How do they actually make money? If you don't pay them, they sell your attention. Because nowadays, in the digital age, the most precious currency is your attention. It's no longer euros, dollars, British pounds. No, it's your attention. Who gets the most attention will make the most money. That is the rule of the game nowadays. It's no longer about providing the best services or the best products to change people's lives. I mean, I'm sure you realize some singers, some composers are extremely talented, yet some artists are way more famous than they are, yet their talent is a fraction of the small unknown creators. We see that a lot in the music industry, because maybe, let's say, the singer is ugly. It's not a pretty boy or a pretty girl, so no one really cares. Raw talent doesn't cut it anymore. These billion-dollar companies, they're investing billions of dollars every single year to pay scientists, engineers to make you addicted to their products. They design the platform in such a way you want to keep coming back and keep consuming more content. I've seen the way that most people consume shorts. They scroll mindlessly like that, and they can do that for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, come on. Every time you're scrolling, you lose brain cells. Not to mention all the time that instead you could use to reach your goals, to build for yourself the life of your freaking dreams. But every minute that you spend scrolling on social media, guess what? It's time that you're stealing from your future self, the version of yourself in the future that could have been successful, that could be wealthy, free, have the body of your dreams, a loving and kind partner, but because you prefer to be like a zombie, a brain-dead zombie scrolling on your phone, it's never gonna happen. Because you're not gonna build the business of your dreams by constantly being distracted. And speaking about being distracted, let me ask you a question. If you're not distracted, then what are you? Automatically you become focused. So this begs another question. How come we can't focus anymore nowadays? We went over the fact that the big corporations of this world nowadays, they're YouTube, YouTube, their Instagram, their social media platforms, and they invest billions every year to make you more addicted to their products. In the modern world, we live constantly surrounded by endless distractions. Every time there's something new, there's a new TV show coming out, with new drama, with a new plot, with something to hook you, to steal your time away from you. Every time you turn, there's TV, junk food, alcohol, nightclubs, parties, hookups, dating apps, video games, Netflix, etc. Because honestly, what a lot of people don't realize is that there is a big difference between, let's say, going to the restaurant, taking a dessert because you enjoy it, it's a nice moment, it's a convivial experience, and then eating junk food every single day to numb your feelings, eating your emotions, to avoid your life, because that's the way that you cope with the life that you hate. And there's a difference between sometimes watching a movie with your friends, with your partner, because you want to relax, have fun, you saw a movie, the plot looks great, you want to watch it, that's completely fine. But there's a difference between doing that and every single day you watch Netflix for hours on end, to drown yourself in fake pleasure, to forget how miserable your life really is for an instant, to numb your senses and your emotions with the dopamine, the cheap dopamine that you don't have to do anything to earn. So I'm not really accusing the activity itself, I'm really pointing out in what circumstances are you doing that activity? Are you doing it because you decided you were going to do it? Or are you doing it because you became a slave to it? Because it's your way of coping instead of actually doing what it takes to change your life, no matter how painful. Now you've got to understand that human beings hate being bored. We've literally had studies done that literally showed that people prefer to self-administrate electric shocks instead of just doing nothing, sitting there in an empty room and just doing literally nothing, thinking, breathing. That's how much we hate boredom. We prefer physical pain, physical torture to doing nothing. I mean, no wonder why meditation is so hard. For the longest time, I couldn't meditate. It was too boring for me. I'm always thinking about so many things. I always have so many ideas. I always want to do so much stuff. But the issue is, oftentimes, I would end up in a rush. I couldn't focus. I'd be thinking about too many things at the same time. But ever since I started to meditate, I feel more at peace. I learned to become more present in the moment. Because at the end of the day, you can work extremely hard for what you want to get in the future. But the only moment that truly exists, it's right now. The past is gone, so there's no use thinking about it anymore, and the future is extremely uncertain. You could die tomorrow for all we know. That's why we need to make the best of every single moment that we have on a daily basis. Appreciate the beauty in every small moment. That is how, in my opinion, you find true fulfillment and true happiness. Chapter 2. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. You've got to realize that your brain is literally designed to look for the most rewarding activities to do right now. Because back then, when we were living in tribes, surviving in the dangerous wilderness, the only activities that actually gave us dopamine, they were sex. They were eating highly caloric food. And these things, they were necessary, vital to our survival as a species. So giving us a lot of dopamine, a lot of pleasure when engaging in those activities, it was nature's clever way of making sure we keep doing it again and again. Because nature's only goal is to keep expanding itself, and to be able to achieve that objective, it employs the most clever strategies. Except that nowadays, in the modern world, with the human civilization we've built, a lot of things have come to hijack those systems in our brain. Back then it was designed to help us to survive, but nowadays the activities that give us a lot of dopamine are the same activities that will ruin our lives if we're not careful. So let me ask you a question. What do you seriously think is going to happen when your brain can decide between playing video games and working on your business, doing boring stuff? Which one is going to be more fun, more rewarding short term for your brain? Of course it's going to be playing video games, eating chips, going on social media, but what your brain doesn't realize is that those activities, they're not necessary to our survival. They're not good for us, in fact. They don't help us to become better, unlike working out or working on your business. One of the worst instant gratification activities is probably consuming pornography. It hijacks every system in your brain and in your body to trick you into thinking you've achieved the most fundamental goal of life, which is to procreate. When in reality, no, you haven't. So you stop becoming better. You lose your powerful energy to go into reach your goals, to literally crush your to-do list every single day. Now you're lethargic, you can't focus, you even have social anxiety because you wasted that precious life source on pixels on the screen. A few years ago, I wanted to start my own online business. I wanted to be free, to make a lot of money, to travel the world, to live the best possible type of life. I didn't want to go for a high-paying career and end up a slave essentially for a nice paycheck. That wasn't enough for me. I wanted freedom above anything else. But at the time, I also struggled with so many traumatic memories. I had so many vices, so many addictions, so many things holding me back. It was hell back then for me. I remember just sitting at my desk trying to get to work, but I can't for some reason because I hate myself, because I don't believe in myself, because I don't believe that I can succeed, because I don't see myself as someone who's disciplined, worthy of actually becoming a successful man. So instead, I start to have those thoughts telling me, oh, let's go watch Netflix, let's go eat some sugar, some junk food, some crap. And I listen to them because I think that's only what I'm worth. I can't do better. Honestly, sometimes I'd like to speak to my younger self. I'd like to show him what is possible to be achieved, honestly. Because back then, what I was hating myself for going and watching Netflix, eating sugar instead of actually going to work, starting my business. Nowadays, I work hard every single day. I go to the gym every single day. I'm up at 6 a.m. It's Saturday right now. I'm recording a YouTube video and I'll do the same thing tomorrow. So I really hope that by making this video, I'm showing you what you can accomplish, how much you can change. It truly is possible. Anything you want, you can get it. Take it from me. If I could do it, honestly, you can. So coming back to the topic of your brain, it's designed to help you to survive right now. It's not oriented for thinking long term. The part of your brain which is responsible for logic, for analytical thinking, it's called the prefrontal cortex. It's actually pretty recent. So it's not that evolved in comparison with the limbic cortex. That's the part of your brain that people often call the lizard brain, because that's the part of your brain that is always seeking for dopamine. That's why we go and we watch Netflix. That's why we love eating junk food. It gives us a lot of dopamine, so the limbic cortex is all fired up. It's the prefrontal cortex that says, no, actually, I'm on a diet. I can't eat that pizza. I can't eat that donuts because I want to look good. I want to see my abs. I want to get shredded. But the limbic cortex, your lizard brain, couldn't care less. So when you try to resist through sheer willpower, it's extremely hard because your limbic brain is way more developed, way more evolved than your prefrontal cortex, which again is the part that says, no, I'm gonna stick to my diet. That's why if you hope to power through your day using sheer willpower, it's not gonna work at some point. You'll give up. But speaking about willpower is honestly like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you can actually tap into your willpower. Some people say that you have only so much willpower in a day. At the end of the day, the reason why you binge eat on cookies and you go watch Netflix, it's because you've drained all of your willpower throughout the day. So now you have none left. So now you can't resist to any urge that you have. You become the truest, the most raw version of yourself, a pure animal, while others think that you have as much willpower as you believe. In fact, a lot of studies have actually shown that. It's really a placebo effect. But the day that you understand that for your brain, it's always gonna be more fun, more rewarding in the short term to watch Netflix, to play video games, to have fun, to eat chips, as opposed to working out, to building your business, to going and improving your social skills, to speaking to a stranger and risking getting rejected, is the day you'll have the keys to changing your life and to accomplishing more things than you ever thought possible. Because most people, 99% of the population, is not even aware of that. Maybe you've watched countless videos on dopamine detox, on self-improvement, so you know more than 99% of people. So for you, you don't realize how abnormal this is. But most people don't realize that at all. Chapter 3. It's gonna feel lonely. The truth is, if you want to be able to achieve more than what 99% of people will ever be able to achieve, this means that you'll also need to do what only a handful of people are actually willing to do. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. At times, the road to success is gonna feel extremely lonely. I mean, before, a few years ago, when I was single, I just had my best friend, and I worked extremely hard. That's all I was doing pretty much. So it felt extremely lonely. People around me didn't get me. I mean, that's the story of my life. Growing up, I was bullied, people made fun of me for my appearance and my way of thinking, because I wasn't like the others, because I didn't just shut my mouth and follow blindly that stupid path that was laid out in front of us, the cookie cutter path. They all tried to push us down. So I'm not gonna lie to you, when you force yourself to get up at 5 a.m, to go to the gym, or to do deep work before you go to school, or before you go to your day job, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be painful, it's gonna feel lonely. You might even get criticized for it. I mean, trust me, some people in your inner circle, your family, your friends, they will openly criticize you for doing that. And while some people actually want the best for you, some people only want to drag you down. Some people don't want you to succeed. You know the saying, they want to see you do well but never better than them. For a lot of people, it's gonna be a threat to their ego. But sometimes, this is exactly what you need to do to get out of hell. At some point, I was getting up at 4:45 a.m. I went to the bathroom, drank some water, got changed, got dressed, went outside, and I was running 5K every morning. Then I'd come back home, eat breakfast, get to work. Chapter 4. Your environment will make you or break you. What if you never actually had to use willpower? What if you didn't even need it? The thing is, what determines your success more than anything else, it's your environment. If you're surrounded by fit people who exercise regularly, you're surrounded by multi-millionaires, guess what? You're probably fit yourself and a multi-millionaire yourself. If you're surrounded with weak, obese, lazy people, people who think, oh, money is evil, people who don't try to do better, they have level entry jobs, they don't try to improve themselves as a person, they never read, they never meditate, they never try to elevate themselves spiritually, financially, and even physically, guess what? You're a lot more likely to end up like those people even if you don't want to. It's hard to go against the grain. Ideally, you want to design your environment to optimize it for you to be able to reach your goals. When it comes to working, the goal is to eliminate all potential distractions. So ideally, we want to create an environment where the only option is either working or doing nothing at all. When I really don't feel like working, I tell myself, okay, I'm just gonna sit there for 20 minutes, do nothing, stare at my screen, stare at the wall. At some point after like 5 minutes, I start to get so bored, I just get to work anywhere because I'm not gonna allow myself to do anything other than do nothing or work. So for my brain, between doing nothing and actually working, what is going to be more rewarding, more fun in the short term? It's working because at least it's giving my brain some kind of stimulation. And remember what we said earlier, a study found that people preferred to self-administrate electric shocks instead of doing nothing. So between doing nothing and going to work, obviously my brain chooses, okay, let's get to work. Let's stop messing around. Now, something that would truly change your life is understanding that human beings always take the path of least resistance. If for you, the path of least resistance, the easiest thing to do right now is to play video games, to watch Netflix while eating popcorn or whatever, instead of going to the gym, instead of working on your business, on your school assignment, guess what? That is exactly what you're going to do. I mean, that's exactly why plenty of students all over the world, they get started on an assignment the day before it's due, sometimes only a few hours before they have to hand it in. If, however, the path of least resistance for you is to work, to go to the gym, because it's the only actual option, the only thing that you allow yourself to do, guess what? They become the easiest thing to do. Hard tasks become easier if they're the only option available. And that's why somebody who's focused, he or she goes through intense periods of work, let's say getting up, going to the gym, working on his business, and then reading, listening to podcasts, and that's all he does on repeat for weeks and for months, and then he takes a break, does whatever he wants for a week, travels, has fun, even does some of the degenerate stuff like hooking up and stuff. That guy is gonna make 1,000 times more progress than you if you allow yourself to every day eat some junk food, watch Netflix, play video games. Because the thing is, the more you do something, the more you think about it. I mean, have you ever noticed how sometimes you're gonna watch a movie, a Netflix show, and then when you're not even watching it, you're gonna think about the plot, about the characters, about what happens between them, the intrigue, like what the hell? They're not even real, they're pixels on a freaking screen. So of course when you get to work, it's gonna distract you. And when you're not working, you're not gonna get many creative ideas because your brain will be thinking about how this and this character broke up. Like, who gives a F? Chapter 5. Regaining clarity of thought. The truth is, when you're overstimulated, you can't even get proper creative ideas. You can't even think clearly, think straight, make the right decisions. And learning to make the right decisions is one of the key skills that you need to master if you truly want to achieve more than 99% of people ever will. Because the reason why 99% of people will never achieve anything substantial in their lives, it's because they keep making the same stupid decisions on a daily basis. And your life is the result of all the choices that you've made in the past. Everything you're experiencing right now, your physical shape, your relationships, your finances, it's the result of what you've done in the previous years. So in that same spirit, what you're doing right now in your present moment, it's creating your future life. You could literally show me what a day, what a week in your life looks like, and I would be able to predict with the greatest accuracy what your life is going to look like in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years from now. And for a lot of people, honestly, if we just take a look at the facts, they're not going to be where they want to be in 5 years from now. But guess what? It's their fault. It's because they're not doing the right things every single day. And then of course they're going to complain about it. And if you look at any top athlete, the best doctors, the best businessmen in the world, they are all obsessed with their craft. They live and breathe to make their vision come true. It's what gets them out of bed every single morning. It's what makes them feel alive, accomplished. Because I can tell you that when you're really driven, when you have a strong mission, a strong reason to get out of bed every single day, everything else in comparison, video games, Netflix, it becomes all boring to you because your goals are worth infinitely more than any fake story or fake video game. Chapter 6. Making work fun. A couple years ago, I just looked at the people waking up at 5 AM, crushing a morning workout, reading, meditating, working 8-10 hours a day, achieving so much, running marathons, making millions of dollars. I looked at those people, I would see them on social media, and I'd look at my life, wonder why the hell I'm so weak and so damn undisciplined. I didn't understand what the hell was wrong with me. How could they achieve so much? And I couldn't. Were they superhuman? Did they have so much willpower and I was just a lazy piece of garbage? I didn't understand. And then over the years, I actually understood why they were able to do that. Because guess what? I transformed myself into that kind of person who gets up early, who works extremely hard every single day, who meditates, who reads, who goes to the gym, who gets up at 5 even. I cracked the code and I'm going to reveal everything right now. The key to transforming your life, to achieving big things, is to love the process, to love what you do. If you hate it, if every single minute of every single day you hate what you do, guess what? At some point, no matter how much willpower you have, you're gonna give up. It's only a matter of time. A lot of studies have actually shown that people who hate the process and only follow that process because they want a goal, an outcome in the distant future, they never actually achieve anything. It's the people who actually love the process, the daily grind, who end up achieving so much more than they could ever dream of. That's the irony of life. The only real way to do the hard freaking work every single day is to find a way to fall in love with it. So when you look at the people working extremely hard, achieving a lot of things, it's easy to say, oh, I can't do it. They have more willpower. They have this and that I don't. It's your brain's way of finding an excuse as to why you can't put out more effort. So the brain is very clever. It will literally do anything to prevent you from expending more energy. That's useful if you're lost in the mountains or if you're back 5,000 years ago. But nowadays, in our modern modern society, it does us more harm than good. Now don't get me wrong, you're not going to like every single aspect of the process. I mean, sometimes I don't want to write, I don't want to record videos, sometimes I don't like to do certain tasks, yet I force myself to do them. And you find gratification in forcing yourself to do that task because you're proud of yourself. You like to see the completion of something difficult. It's very gratifying in itself. So if you have a strong reason to do the hard work every single day, and on top of that, you love the process, you will become unstoppable. You will be able to achieve everything you've ever wanted in life. Believe me. Chapter 7. Eat the freaking frog. Now, no one wants to eat a frog, especially if it's alive and it's all gross, whatever. But eating the frog means to do the hardest task first things first in the morning. That is when you have the most willpower. That is when your cognitive resources, your energy, even your time, and your creative abilities are at their highest. Now, fair enough. Some people function best in the late evenings, at night. But those people, they're actually way less common than you'd think. A lot of university students, they live during the night, they sleep during the day. They're killing their health, and they think, oh, but no, I'm a night owl. Genetically speaking, a lot of them are not. Some are, sure, but not most of them. Most of them, they go to sleep late at night because they're playing video games, watching Netflix, not because they're doing deep creative thinking, hard work. That's how you know if you're a true night owl or if you're just lying to yourself. By asking yourself, what are you doing at night? Are you actually working or messing around? Wasting your time, wasting your life. So no one wants to eat the frog. It's uncomfortable, but the people who do get the best freaking results. The ideal is to do the task that will move the needle forward in what you're doing, in your studies, in your school, in your work, in your business. So ask yourself, what is the most important task I need to complete today, tomorrow? Plan it in advance. Like the day before, you want to have a list and have that most important task. When you wake up, get straight to doing it. It could even be going to the gym. Maybe for you, that's the hardest thing to do. So do it first thing in the morning. Give yourself some momentum. Every single day I get up at 6, I go to the gym, then I come back home and I work. The reason why I go to the gym first thing in the morning, it's to get more energy, to start the day by challenging myself, by doing something difficult, to get the ball rolling. And then the rest is easy in comparison. If you start the day with a win, you build up the winner effect. It becomes easier to keep winning. And that is how you end up achieving crazy things in life. One step at a time. But over time, all those small little steps, they compound and they change your freaking life. Chapter 8. Deep work. In the new economy, which is the attention economy, the amount of success that you can achieve and the amount of money that you can make is determined by one thing and one thing only. And that thing is how fast can you produce high quality work. That's it. And as you might have guessed it already, I hope, without the ability to focus, that is naturally impossible to achieve. Some people spend 10 hours a day working, in reality they get only 2 hours of work done. So in 4 hours of deep work, you destroy those people. I'm not even kidding you. When I say that I can do in 2 hours what it takes my competition 2 weeks to do, I'm not even joking. That is how powerful focusing is. So what is deep work exactly? What does it mean? And how do you do it? It's when you're working without distractions, without interruptions for at least 45 minutes straight. Now, because it's very intense, you can't be doing deep work all day long. Your brain just can't handle it. It's too much. But that's not even necessary because like we've seen it, you will be able to produce more work of better quality faster than anyone else. Now, before you begin a deep work session, you need to do this one fundamental thing. You need to set a clear intention, a clear goal. Ask yourself this following question. What am I looking to accomplish in the next 45, 60 or 90 minutes? If you don't, it's kind of like going to the airport, hopping on a random plane, hoping you'll land in a country that you enjoy. Why not just pick a destination and stick to it? Then when you have the intention, you want to set a duration from 45 minutes up to 2 hours. And something that you absolutely need to do is to take breaks. The longer you focus, the longer the break will need to be. After 45 minutes of deep work, I like to give myself 15 minutes of rest. But during those 15 minutes, I'm not gonna go and check my phone, do stupid things. If I do, I will get out of the state of flow I was in, and it's gonna be more difficult to get back to doing what I was doing. So instead, you can just get up, get out your office, your room, go get a cup of tea, fill up your water bottle, take some deep breaths, go outside, get some sunlight exposure, and then you get back to work. You begin the next deep work session. Something that also works well is stretching or looking out the window, thinking. But you don't want to make the mistake of doing something which is hyper stimulating for the brain, because the goal of the break is not to have fun or to go play video games. We're getting you ready for the next deep work session, so we need to do it correctly. Then the goal is to do 2 to 4 sessions like that. If you can do that every single day, you will become unstoppable. You'll be able to achieve so much and faster than anyone else. People will wonder how the heck you can do that. What's your secret? They'll all ask you. Chapter 9. Practicing boredom. Now I'm gonna warn you. You're gonna hate what I'm about to say. You literally want to take some time every single day to sit in your room, in your office, on the floor, on the bed, on the chair, whatever, and for 20 to 30 minutes, you do nothing. You close your eyes, you follow your breath, you look at the wall, you stare at the wall, and you do nothing. You observe your thoughts without analyzing them, without judging them. You're not allowed to get up, go get your phone, go on social media, do this or do that. Just focus on doing nothing. I'm telling you, you're gonna hate it. But it is extremely effective. And if you don't do it, your competitor will do it, and guess what? it'll completely destroy you. Chapter 10. Deep downtime. A while ago, I made the mistake of following the hustle culture trap. I used to seriously believe that unless I was working 24/7, I would never make my dreams into a reality. All my dreams would die with me. I'd never become successful. That's what I was so afraid of. But the truth is, when you're a beginner, you can't work 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, in the gym, you're never gonna go to the gym and try to bench 200 pounds when you've never even lifted a barbell before. And that makes sense, everyone knows that. But when it comes to working, to intellectual creative tasks, most people don't understand that you don't have the freaking capacity to do 10 to 12 hours of work, of deep, pure work when you're just starting out. You need to build up your capacity to work hard. A couple years ago when I was still in high school, before I started the business that changed my life, with my best friend of the time, we decided to do a little experiment. He was gonna work just a couple hours a day and do whatever the hell he wanted the rest of the time, and I was going to work 10-hour days. Get up at 5, go to the gym. Now let me ask you a question. Who made the most progress during that time? Was it him or me? The answer might shock you. It wasn't me, it was him, because at the time I was very unsophisticated. I hadn't built up my ability to work hard and for long hours, so I'd do it for 3 days, and then I couldn't work for a month straight. I was freaking burned out. Whereas nowadays I work every day, even on the weekends, and I enjoy it. I make progress. But back then that would have been impossible. So that took years to achieve. So don't beat yourself up. If you can't work 8 to 12 hours a day straight, you need to improve your capacity to do it. It's a skill. It's not gonna happen overnight. And the truth is, you can't be grinding, working extremely hard every waking hour of every single day. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I often work 7 days a week, but then I'm gonna take a massive break of 7 days, let's say. I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want, because you can't always be on grinding. And life isn't just about that. Life is also about experiences, about enjoyment, doing the things that you genuinely enjoy. Do intense periods of work, and then, let's say, take a week off and do whatever you want. Recharge your batteries, and then come right back to work. That is how you achieve more than 99% of people ever will. If you do this, you will destroy your competition, believe me. Because the harder you work, the more energy you're gonna use up, so the more breaks you'll need. I remember in some point in high school, I had managed to get one class that really interested me. It was about socio-economical things, business. And I remember the teacher asking the following question. It showed us a study that showed that the more money people made, the more breaks and vacations they needed to take. So he asked us the following question. Do you think that these people who make 6 figures a year, the executives working for big corporations, do you think they go on vacation more often than regular people and spend more money on it because they can afford to do it, or because they need to do it, because they work so hard that they need to recharge their batteries more than the average person? I'll let you meditate on that. In fact, let me know what you think in the comments down below. But after experiencing it myself, it is true that the harder you work, the more you'll also need to rest and to recover, to recharge your batteries. And some of the hustle culture people will tell you that you need to sacrifice sleep. I mean, sometimes they'll tell you rich people don't sleep 8 hours a night. Yes, they do. How can you function when you're sleep deprived? How can you do great work faster than the competition? You can't. Prioritize your health, your sleep, your diet, your exercise regimen, and you will see the quality of your work shoot through the roof. Every studies show that when you're sleep deprived, your work performance and even your performance in sports drops down significantly. So if you think you're gonna squeeze in an extra hour of work by sleeping 1 less hour, what are you honestly thinking? It's not how it works. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, what is my goal? Is it to spend all of your life working yourself to the bone, but for what in the end? I knew that when I decided to bet on myself, that wasn't the type of life I had in mind. I was willing to work harder, of course, to make sacrifices, of course, but to build a better life, a life of true freedom and of true abundance. That's why I started my own online business. It wasn't to have more of a job than a job and to become more of a slave than a slave. If you're a beginner, you want to start a business because you want to be free, you just have no clue what to do. I've recorded a free guide in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together we take a look at the pros, at the cons, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process that you can use to get your first customers as quickly as possible. Click on the first link in the description below if you want to learn more about it. With that said, you truly have all of the tools that you need to change your life. If you apply every piece of advice I've given to you in this video, you will master boredom, and more than that, you'll make every single dream of yours come true. That I have no doubt about it. So what are you waiting for? It's time to get to work.